All right, our next storyteller comes to us from the Louisville Metro Police Foundation. Foundation is an independent nonprofit that serves as a bridge between our community, our police officers, between our community and our police officers. The foundation provides critical equipment, training, health, and wellness support that aren't funded by tax dollars but are essential to those who serve. At its core, the foundation's work is about caring for the men, women, and families behind every badge and strengthening the bond between law enforcement and the community that Louisville's police officers are sworn to protect. The woman leading the foundation has a deep and personal connection to that mission. Please welcome Rebecca Grignon Reker.
I grew up as the oldest of 8 children. My mother is a saint. We were raised with a strong relationship with God and the importance of helping other people. And from the moment that I remember, the earliest I can remember, I was helping. I was holding babies, making snacks, tying shoes, keeping the peace. I don't know that my siblings really appreciated me being that helpful because they called me Becca Boss Cow. Very hurtful. But I love family. They were the most important thing to me and still are. When I was 23, I was working mall security. No segues, unfortunately. And I met Peter Grignon. Peter was absolutely phenomenal. He was quiet, but he had a great sense of humor. He was kind of one of those guys you wanted to stand against the wall with at parties because he could always make you laugh. Kids and pets loved him. He was just the total package. I was very lucky to meet him. We loved working mall security together. We helped reunite lost kids with their parents. We liked discouraging shoplifters. We just had a good time helping people. We liked it so much that we decided to try out for the police academy together. And I'll have you know that I scored higher than Peter on the written and the oral test. And I never let him forget it. Unfortunately, I was a 1/4 inch too short on the high jump, so I didn't make it. But Peter went on to become a police officer with the Louisville Metro Police Department. And he loved it. He was so proud of having the privilege of protecting our city. We got married March the 20th of 2004, and we had so many plans. Peter was a great planner. And we went to Gatlinburg for our 1-year anniversary. I planned that. And about 3 days after that, Peter went into work for the night shift because he was still the new guy. And he always called me after roll call to catch up on everybody's business. And it was kind of late, so I started falling asleep. And he said, I'm going to let you go so you can go to sleep. And I said, no, I want to keep hearing the stories. And he said, go to sleep. I love you. I'll see you in the morning. The next morning, a knock at the door woke me, and I wrapped a blanket around myself and went down to let him in because I thought he'd forgotten his key. And instead of Peter on the porch, there was a police officer and a chaplain. And they said that Peter had been hurt and I needed to come to the hospital. Finally, in the car, I said, hey, listen, I'm a police wife. I need to know what's going on so that I can help him the best way I can when I get there. And his commander turned and looked at me and said, ma'am, he's been shot in the head and we think he's dead. Peter had gone on a routine call like so many of our police officers do. And for reasons that are still not clear to us, a teenage boy had shot him multiple times in the face and head and then taken his own life. In the hospital, they put me in this small room and it just felt like the walls were closing in on me. And I fell to my knees and I begged God. I knew God had the power to heal Peter. But I felt him ask me to pray the prayer that Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane. Not my will, but yours be done. I didn't want to pray that prayer, but I did it. And not long after that, a doctor and detective walked in and told me Peter had died. And just like that, the future that we planned crumbled to ashes. I went out into the hallway and there was this sea of blue. Officers, many of whom I'd never met, lined the hallway, shoulder to shoulder, many with tears in their eyes. And I realized that even though Peter had gone, he had left me his family of fellow officers to take care of me. And we held each other up when we could barely stand. The weeks passed in a fog, and I honestly didn't know if I would survive the pain. But then news came that a Livingston County Sheriff's deputy in Western Kentucky had been shot and killed in the same way as Peter, leaving behind a grieving wife. My question was, who's going? My dad taught me this verse in 2 Corinthians. It says we are to comfort others with the comfort that we've been given. So many people in my town had looked out for me and taken care of me. I wanted to go and do the same for her. What I thought would be a 2-hour visit turned into a week as I sat with Debbie during the hardest time of her life. And I realized something. Peter's legacy could continue through me. And I found my purpose again. As the years passed, I worked across Kentucky and Indiana, helping families of the fallen. And when God gave me my chapter 2 with my husband, John, and my kids, Annabelle, Jaden, and Joey, I wasn't able to travel anymore, but I really, really missed my public safety family. So in 2017, I joined the Louisville Metro Police Foundation, and I get to help our helpers every day. It is my honor. You and I, the average person, will only encounter about a handful of traumatic events over our lifetime. These guys, in a 20-year career, encounter hundreds and hundreds. That is why we became part of the public-private partnership to create the Summit Wellness Center to offer holistic care to our officers so they can be at their very best while they are taking care of us. All those years ago, standing in that hallway, surrounded by that sea of blue, I could have never imagined this amazing life. What I thought was ashes has been shaped, slowly and faithfully, into something beautiful. God has given me a family, a purpose, and a way to honor Peter every single day. And this, the work I do with the foundation, this is what came from those ashes.
Rebecca Grignon Reker. Thank you, Rebecca.